Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I have for you a couple of projects that I will be making. This is for Wonderful Weather Rainbow Gift Box and Wonderful Weather Cloud Gift Box. Let me show you the dies quickly. I've left it on my sample packaging, but basically there's two die sets. One makes a cloud. Let me show you it like this. One makes a cloud, and this is what that one looks like. I've just decorated it with some cute little bits. So it opens up and it's a nice sized gift box. So there's dies in here. So for example, let me just put that there. You've got an umbrella, you've got a baby grow, you've got a rainbow, you've got the moon, you've got a hot air balloon, you've got a cloud, and there is a deboss sentiment in there that says, I think it says, every cloud has a silver lining. There's a couple of snowflakes in here as well. You've got your lightning, and then you've got some raindrops. There's a rocket, a cloud with a face in it. There's another sentiment that says congratulations. You can't even see that. Congratulations. And then a couple more here. It's a girl, it's a boy, and this one says new baby. I think I mentioned the umbrella. If I haven't, there is an umbrella in this too. So that's the cloud box. And then this one is the rainbow box. So this one has a large panel here, and there's a couple of deboss sentiments. One says somewhere over the rainbow, and the other one says you. What does that one say? You're my pot of gold. There is also a pot of gold here. Again, a lightning, raindrops. There's a cloud here that says you are my sunshine if you deboss it. And there's a stripy cloud, a couple of stars. You've got the sun here. There is a sentiment inside this one that says keep on shining. So we are going to, hopefully, as long as it doesn't take too long, I'm going to do both projects in one go. These are really straightforward, boxes to make. So hopefully, let me just gather myself here, because I've got a lot of mess next to me. Right, let's move these bits out of the way. Right, let me put those there, because I'll need to refer back to the dies. So as always, I have cut all my pieces out. So for this project, we are going to be making something that looks like this. It is a rainbow box, and it has a closure on there, and you basically open it up, and then you've got a nice little box, a gift box, where you can put a tiny little gift in there. Well, it doesn't have to be tiny, but that's your opening. So let's put one together. So for this then, you are going to need two of these pieces, and on one of them, let me just show you the die. On one of the panels, you need this die. You'll have to basically, if I bring in the main die panel, so once you've cut this out like this, you'll cut out two like this. You're going to flip your die, place this over the top again, like so. There are markings on the larger panel, so you're going to place your die back on top, and then you're basically going to line this this die up using the two notches that are marked. I don't know if you can see those notches. There's one there and then there's one there. You basically line that up and then you place this where those two notches are, and then you're going to run that, make sure you tape it down and run that through your machine, and then you will get a panel that looks like this. So let's just put those pieces back. So you need two of those, one with the opening. You need to cut yourself one of these panels here. This will be a glue tab joining our panels together. You will also need to cut one of each. There are two sizes, so you will need to cut one of each, and then the rest is basically decoration. So for the closure, you are going to need to cut, I'm using 200 GSM white card for this because I want that flexibility. So I've cut two of them out in 200 GSM. I've then cut myself, oh, my washers are going. I've then cut myself 3 washers, and then I've cut myself that larger circle because you need that the closure to slide from side to side. So those are the pieces you need for the closure, and then the rest is decoration. So I've cut myself a sun, I've cut the sentiment that says keep on shining. I've cut a few stars out in both sizes. I've also cut a few raindrops out. I've also got some clouds here, and I've used the Verso panel to cut them out in the stripes. So I've got 2 like that, and then I've got a few more just to add as decoration. I've also cut my rainbow out in pastel colours. So I'm using buttermilk yellow, I'm using ballet pink, pistachio green, Arctic blue, and mauve. I think this is lilac mauve, I believe it's called. And this is all Craft Perfect 216 GSM. My stars are in 216 GSM, my sun is in 216, and the rest is 200 GSM. My panels are also 216 GSM, and these pieces are 200 GSM. So hopefully that all makes sense. I have got a little bit of ribbon because I plan to have a hanging box. Thought I'd do something different, and I have got a little pink bow as well here. So let's see what we end up using and what we don't. So first of all, what you need to do is go ahead and fold all your tabs on both panels. Okay, and then what you might want to do is just fold this tab out towards you. Don't push it in, fold it out towards you like that, so that it doesn't close in on itself. It's the closure that will keep it in place. So we need to bring in this panel here, which is going to be our glue tab. So go ahead and fold where that score line is, and make sure you give that a really, really good burnish. I will be using my Sweet Petunia with my Nouveau Deluxe. So I am just going to go ahead and apply glue. Oh, goodness me. I'm just going to go ahead and apply glue to my tab here. Make sure you take the glue right to the edge there. And then you're going to, let's do it with this one first. You're going to then, from point to point, attach that tab to your panel, like so. That's better. And then you're going to go ahead and apply glue again to this tab, and you're going to do exactly the same thing. Okay, so once you've done that, you should have something that looks like this. If you want to, go ahead and press your tab down on the inside with your precision tool, just so you know that it's got a good adhesion there. And then you are going to bring in, out of these two panels, you're going to bring in the smaller of the two. So as you can see, they're two different sizes. So bring in your smaller one. Give your smaller one a nice curve, like so. And then what you're going to do is push all these tabs out. Like so. And you are now going to apply glue to each of these semicircle tabs from the inside. So we'll do half first, and then we'll do, let's do that one as well. So you're basically going to go from this point here, you're going to attach that first one. Now make sure you get that first one aligned nicely into that corner. Wait for it to grab. And then basically press down all your tabs. And just make sure with the end ones, just give it a minute to grab. Push in from the inside with your fingers and just make sure that grabs really well. Okay, we're now going to do exactly the same thing on this side. You've just seen me do this side, but on this side, because you've got that opening, it makes it easier to get your hand in, because obviously one side is already closed off. So I'm going to apply glue. Okay, so you should have something that looks like this. Now, I am going to make a slight hole for mine. So if I just lay this out on here, I sort of want to make sure I think that's my middle. I want to make sure I get my hole in the middle. So I've just marked it with my pokey tool, and I'm just basically going to push my pokey tool through like that to make that hole. You might have a crocodile to do it with, and then all I'm going to do is feed my ribbon through. Yeah, so I'm just going to feed my ribbon through that hole like so. So both ends are through, and then all I'm going to do is bring in some tape, double-sided tape, and I'm just going to secure the ends. So if I spread those bits out. Lockie! Just going to secure my ribbons, my tail end of the ribbon. So I'm just going to press that down like that. And then I'm just going to again go over it with my precision tool, and I'm just going to curve both sides like that. I'm then going to apply glue to the edge of my panel. Make sure you take it to that point. Make sure you put plenty of glue on. And then we are just going to place this from point to point onto our box. So, oh, let's start that again. So just hold that in place and just work around your box, and it should meet from point to point like so. So just press all that down. You will have a slight overhang, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. Just make sure that attaches nicely. So then we're going to have it as a hanging box. Okay, so now that all that is stuck down, we are going to bring in our closure. So I'm going to apply glue to the circle portion of this larger circle, and I'm just going to place these smaller circles on top, and I'm adding on 3 of these pieces, the smaller circles. so I can make a little washer. So I'm just going to let that dry. I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to then take my closure, apply glue, and then add another piece on, like so. Again, I'm going to let those two pieces dry. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my rainbow. So I'm applying glue to my largest rainbow. And then I'm going to place this leaving a nice even border. So take it from one edge to the other, stick that one down, and I'm just going to basically do all the layers. Okay, so you should have a rainbow that looks like this. I'm going to now take my washer and I'm going to feed it through into here. I'm just going to have to put my hand in and hold it there in place. I'm going to apply glue to that circle, and I'm just going to place that over the top there, and I'm just going to wait for the glue to grab. So be patient with this process. Just hold that. It's definitely moving, so I'm just going to let that dry onto there for a moment. So then I'm going to move to the front here. I'm going to bring in some of these clouds that I have cut out, and then I've got this sun here as well. So I think what I'm going to do with the sun is I'm going to add some foam pads to this. So if I just go around, so I'm just going to peel the backs off. Apply dots of glue onto the back of those foam pads, and I'm going to place this onto my sun. Just making sure I centralize that. Perfect, like so. Just move these bits out of the way. And then I'm going to stick this, I think I'm going to stick this here somewhere. And then I'm going to have some clouds. I think I'll have one there. I'm going to have one there. Okay, so let me stick some of these clouds on. So if I stick that one there. I'm then going to put this on foam pads too. And I'm going to stick this one just there, like that. And then I'm going to bring in my sun. I think I'm going to have this on flat, so I'm just going to apply glue to the bottom of my sun. Let's stick that. Oh, that's the wrong way. That's not going to help. Stick that on there, like so. And then I'm going to get another cloud. And I think I'm going to stick that one there, like that. Like so. So that bit's done. I'm now going to add some stars onto the top. There we go. So that's my top done. And now I'm going to move on to the back. So hopefully now that is glued down. So you just basically push the closure and then that's how it closes. But what I do want to do is add some clouds. So what I'm going to do is add some clouds onto the back. So I'm going to apply glue only on half of this. And I'm going to stick that onto there. Or maybe up here somewhere. Like so. I'm then going to apply glue to this side now. Let's just open this up and I'm going to apply this cloud onto there. So then it overlaps like that. And then I think I'm going to put another one, possibly there. So I'm just going to apply glue to here. apply that onto there. So hopefully then this closure, just swing round, we can close it there. I have got a couple of raindrops which I do want to add on, so I'm just going to put a dot here and one there. That's the wrong way. And I think I'm going to leave it like that. I think what I might do is add a little bow to maybe go on there. Should we have it there? Maybe there. I'm just going to put a tiny bit of glue onto there. And can just stick that bow on there. And there we have our hanging rainbow. And then it opens up, swing it over, and it opens up, and then swing it back, and that closes. I suppose you could also, if I could probably swing it round here to close it off like that. So that is one of the boxes. So I'll leave that one there. The next one is the cloud. But what I might do is film it in two. Do I film it in two, or do I just do it and then we can speed some of it up? Okay, I'll do it in one and then we can speed some of it up. So I have cut some of my pieces out already, and I've basically matte and layered like the rocket. I've got some snowflakes, I've got a hot air balloon, I've got a smiley cloud, I've got the moon, and then I've got the sentiment, it's a boy. So let's just go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and do it in this video. So for this then, what you need, let's just move these bits out of the way. You need to cut out 4 of the larger clouds, and you need to cut out 2 of these larger side panels, that's for the base, and 2 of the smaller side panels, which is going to be for the lid. I've then cut 2 smaller clouds in Arctic blue, and I've also cut the side panels as well. So 2 smaller side panels and 2 larger, well, these are the decorative panels. I'm going to keep it fairly simple for this make. So basically what you need to do is, if we do the base first, you are going to apply glue to this tab here. And you're going to apply glue to this tab here. And you're basically going to overlap those tabs. And you're basically going to glue those together. Now, I am using 240 GSM for this, whereas my pink one I did with 216 GSM. So you basically need to overlap it like that. And I'm just going to go ahead and press that down like so. sides. And then you need to curve your panels. Go ahead and fold all those glue tabs away from yourself. Okay, make sure you give them a really good burnish. Open them back out again, like so. Bring in one of your clouds. It's really difficult to see, but you do actually have a slight marking on the bottom of those clouds. So what you need to do is apply glue to the tabs here, and then you're basically going to line it up with that. If I do it this way, because I want a neat side, so you're basically going to line it up from one tab to the next, or the one marking to the next marking, and you're basically going to press that down. This will make sure that everything is lined up nicely. And then you're just going to apply glue with your precision tool. Go in and press that down so you know you've got good adhesion there. And then you're basically going to apply glue. What I would recommend is at this point, fold those tabs into. And I think what I'm going to do as well is apply glue. And I'm going to stick those down. Okay, so once you've done that, go ahead and apply glue. I'll do one side and then I'll speed up the rest. So you're just going to apply glue to all these tabs here, all your sharp teeth. And you're just going to go around your curves. Make sure you're pushing all those tabs towards you. And what you might find is it might be easier to do it like this, which is normally what I do. So I'm just going to go ahead and hold that tab there. Let that one grab. And then press the rest down. Go in with your precision tool. And then basically press all that down. Like so. You're going to do exactly the same thing on this side. We're going to do exactly the same thing on this side. So we're going to open all these tabs up. We're going to apply glue again to this tab here. And we're just following the same process again. Okay, so you will have something that looks like this. So at this point you can go ahead and place your panels over the top to cover up your workings. Okay, so that is your base. You're going to do exactly the same thing for your lid. So bear with. I think with the lid, I think it's best if I so we've got our next pieces. It's exactly the same method. You're going to apply glue to this panel here, this glue tab here, and to this glue tab there. And again, you're going to overlap and line up both panels and press those down. So for this one, you just need to make sure that it's glued down really well, because we're going to create a V shape to this panel here. You're just going to fold that panel like so, and then you're going to curve your panel in exactly the same way. We are going to fold all these tabs, burnish them. Okay, so for this, you need to apply glue to the glue tabs again. So I'm going to do a few on each side. I'm going to bring in one of these pieces, going to line it up with that point there, and you're basically just going to hold that in place. Push it in with your nail. Get that first glue tab stuck down. And I'm just going to apply glue to all my tabs now. And I'm just going to work my way around. I'm just going to fold those tabs in actually, because that is going to get in the way. So let me just fold that. Okay, I'm going to apply glue to these tabs again. And we are basically going to work our way around again. We're just going to hold all of that in place while it all grabs. Okay, so you're going to have something that looks like this. I'm going to go ahead and jump to sticking this panel on, and I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back. I have stuck my additional panels on top so I could cover up my workings, and basically this is how the box fits together, like so, and it closes like that and covers up your workings like so. So now what we need to do is decorate. So let's just put it on that way around. Okay, that's better. So now what we need to do is decorate. So I'm going to take some of my smaller cloud panels, and I'm going to place that over the top like so, and then I'll take the next one. We also have these panels here, so you do need to give these ones, let me just double check, don't want this that way. So we're going to give these ones a curve, and we're going to stick these ones down too. Okay, so I have gone ahead and stuck my panels on. So if I just close that box up, now we're just going to decorate everything. So I think I'm going to use some foam pads and add some of these decoration pieces on. I'm going to let that dry for a second. And then I think we are going to let's stick our moon down because that's going to go on flat. So this is going to be on the back. Oh, today is not my day at all. I'm making a mess everywhere. Right, so this is going to be on the back. So let me stick that on at an angle like so. Just going to apply a dot of glue in this corner because that's lifting a little bit. There we go. And then we are going to apply, take the backing off from this cloud. Such a cute little smiley face. And just put dots of glue on there. And stick that on here, there, like so. I am then going to have my rockets. I think we're going to have, actually no, it's not the rocket. We're putting these snowflakes on. So let's stick one there. One there. And then we're sticking one there. So that's the back. And then on the front, we are going to have some more foam pads. Let's let that dry for a second. I think we are going to have our hot air balloon on here, like that. We are going to have our rocket up here somewhere, and I think we're going to have our little cloud on here. So I actually do want the hot air balloon on some foam pads. And I'm going to stick that onto here, like so. rock it up here. And then I'm just going to put some glue onto my sentiment. And place that in my cloud like so. And there is our cute cloud. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh gosh, that is so cute. Okay, so let me bring in, I can only apologize that the video was so long again, and I do a lot of apologizing for long videos. So let me bring in all my makes, and then you can kind of see what they all look like. So those are my 3 makes. I've got my it's a girl, it's a boy, and I've got my cute little hanging one. And again, it's got lots of clouds on the back. This one opens up like so, and you can put a nice little gift inside. And then swing it round to close it like so. And then these ones open from the top, and then you've got all that space inside like so. Obviously, you know, you can decorate it more if you wanted to. You can add a few more bits, mix and match both sets if you wanted to. So those are my makes for today. I will speed up some bits of the video, obviously, because otherwise it's going to be far too long, and we don't want that. So thank you so much for watching. You will find the links for this in the description below. Please do like and subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell to receive notifications of future videos. And I just appreciate it when you leave a comment, even if you don't. You know, if you're watching, please do give it a thumbs up. It just shows your support. Because so many of you watch, but there's no interaction, and I would really appreciate it if you did. So thank you again so much, and hopefully I will catch you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.